Good afternoon. I'm Mark Ornelis. I'm an attorney in Stockton. I'm also a graduate of UC Berkeley, past president of the Alumni Association, and a 2-year regent. And I represent 3 generations of Cal students here. My parents graduated in 1937 at the height of the Depression. Neither one of them could have done it without the support of the state at that time in that very difficult financial time. I graduated in 1971. My daughter is a current second-year student at Berkeley, a STEM student. And my concern right at the moment is the presentation was last made to you that was very myopic and doesn't take into account the history of the University of California and the arc of state support that was upward trend between my parents and me, and has been a consistent downward trend since me and my daughter. So I would encourage you to go back, look at the master plan, and review the history of the University of California and all of its campuses, but particularly Berkeley and UCLA, and their contributions and research to the vitality of this state and the importance of state support for that. Thank you.
Good afternoon, Mr. Chair. My name is Kim Harrington, and I'm a long-serving staff member at California State University, Sacramento. And I'm pleased to represent the 15,000 CSUEU staff. As staff, we see and feel the damage that the defunding of the CSU has caused. The radical understaffing of both staff and faculty perpetuates the inability of students to meet their graduation goals. In addition, as staff, we see the deterioration as we are unable to do our jobs effectively, supporting the mission of this university by assisting students, creating and scheduling classes, reserving space, and the like. We do believe that you all have done a wonderful job in restoring and supporting K-12 and community colleges, and you need to do the same for higher ed, because these students have to go somewhere. The bottleneck is not classes. The bottleneck is CSU and access. So we ask that you consider funding the CSU in the same manner that you do K-12. That's speaking future. And please remember that the future workers we need will need the skills and creative thinking that the CSU affords, and the engineers of tomorrow will be designing and operating the governor's bullet train in the future.
Thank you.
Ding?
Pretty much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
We support the additional funding for the CSU.
Yes.
Thank you.
Mr. Chair and committee, it's really tall. I have spent 6 years in K-8 education, and these children, my name is Aspen Hall. I'm a current student at Sac State. I previously spent 6 years in K-8 education in low-income neighborhoods. These children need the ability to have access to affordable, quality higher education, and this is an increasing danger with the budget cuts and overwhelming need of people for the higher education system. I myself am a student of the CSU system at Sac State, and what Mrs. Napolitano states of the UC system is also applicable to my experience at Sac State. Reduced class sessions and courses offered, resulting in reduced quality education and professionals produced. Action is needed on a statewide level to not merely maintain budgeting of our higher education system, we need to increase it. Thank you.
Good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
I'm Emmanuel Gale, Professor Emeritus, California State University, Sacramento, in social work and gerontology. I have a personal historical perspective that nobody around here has, since I am finishing my 48th year teaching at Sac State. I'm technically retired. I teach half-time. I teach social welfare policy and services, health policy and services, and aging policy and services. What my concern has been all along is educating and training people who will be going to work in the field, whether you're talking about child welfare or child protective services or adult protective services or working with older people, et cetera, et cetera. It's a practice profession, basically, and we're training people to work directly with people, and we're also training people who will take over supervisorial responsibility, et cetera, et cetera. My biggest concern has been not only are we trying to train these young people to be professionals, but we are devastated by the negative consequences of the budget cuts over the years to healthcare and education and human services that negatively affects people. In Sacramento County, as you well know, the budget cuts from the state directly affected health services, where there were 8 health centers, 7 of them were closed. Mental health services were cut. Adult health services were cut. Child protective services, 4 years ago, they laid off 49 child protective service workers, adult protective service workers, etc. So we're talking about negative consequences, not only in terms of higher education, but the professional responsibilities that these people want to have dedicated their lives to commit to work with people. And my biggest concern has been the fundamental crisis in values by disinvesting in services and professionals that need to be working in the field. Thank you.
My name is, excuse me, my name is Thomas Krabacker. I, too, am a faculty member at Sac State, although I haven't been there as long. I've only been there for about 25 years. But here today, I'm speaking on behalf of the Statewide Academic Senate. The Statewide Academic Senate has long had its overwhelming priority focused on providing a quality education to our students. And in addition to that, we've worked very much with the Chancellor's Office, also with the legislature and the governor to try to increase graduation rates and to improve time to degree. But a major concern of ours in recent years has been the number of academically qualified students who are denied admission to the CSU. While we appreciate the governor's increase to the CSU budget proposed for this year, like for last year, we support the Chancellor's and the Board of Trustees' argument that it's insufficient. So we ask the Assembly, we ask the legislature to fully fund the CSU. You stepped forward for us last year, and we ask you to do it again this year.
Good afternoon, Mr. Chair. My name is Katori Knight. I'm a student leader at American River College. After spending the weekend with hundreds of other California community college students, it has become clear that one of the largest barriers to success for us is the high percentage of part-time faculty. Some of my part-time faculty members have had as many as 5 different campuses that they've had to work at. They've been run ragged. Some don't even have office hours at many districts in our state. And students are by far the ones that suffer the most with this high percentage of part-time faculty. We're not given the time that we deserve, the attention that we need. So I'm here advocating for a very high percentage of full-time faculty for our students in state schools.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Jonathan Lightman on behalf of the Faculty Association of California Community Colleges. I'm going to start by thanking the governor for his generous budget proposed increase for the community colleges, and suggest that this weekend, Ms. Knight was part of our group. We had hundreds of students and faculty members, and they saw all of this new money on the table. And they're asking the question, why is only 56% of the courses classroom instruction taught by full-time faculty? Why can't we offer universal access to office hours by our part-time faculty? And why, with new equity money on the table, can't we backfill the categoricals in EOPS and in CalWORKs, as well as expand services to students with disabilities? And I think that these are really important questions. You heard today several members from the community colleges say, well, we can have this conversation after the May revise if additional money is on the table. We would submit that additional money is on the table now. We should be having these conversations now. You're going to be having a hearing about the community colleges in April. This is a time to say, what can we do if new money is not on the table to improve upon the governor's vision for student success, to include the student services, as well as improve instruction, which is a function of student success? Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Mitch Seaman with the California Labor Federation. And we just wanted to quickly touch on an issue that wasn't directly brought up today, but we see as very much relevant to any discussion of UC funding, and that's protecting full funding for the UC labor centers. The UC labor centers provide a very unique service in that they provide very well thought out, critically important, actionable research on a variety of policy areas that we spend a lot of time working on here in the Capitol, from the right to organize to immigrant worker rights to minimum wage to health care. Down the line, they provide a lot of different research and statistics and facts and things that we use to help inform a lot of the policy debate here to make sure that the bills that we work on in those areas do the best job that they can for workers. Governor Schwarzenegger cut the funding level from $6 million down to $2 million, and ever since we fought hard to bring that level back up to $6 million, which we were able to do last year, but it was through kind of a patchwork strategy where only $2 million of that was an ongoing funding. And so what we'd like to see is that full $6 million level continue on into the future. Whether it's specifically identified in the budget or not, we'll defer to the experts on the best way to do that. But we do very much believe in the work they do and hope to keep that funding level going into the future.
Good afternoon, Mr. Chair. My name is Sean Healy. I'm a student at Sac State, and I'm here to advocate today for the additional funds necessary to continue students' progress and students' ability to get out of the college system in a reasonable time. And also, the additional funds would help support students at these colleges. I know at Sac State, Sequoia Hall is on the verge of just collapsing, and it's old, and all of the equipment is run down, and just here to say that those additional funds would help the infrastructure of these colleges and continue students on their path to their careers.
Thank you.
Thank you.